Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the show at Rise Up Show with me, your host, the Queen Bee, Dani. How are you feeling? As we chat this morning to the devilishly handsome, the fabulously wonderful, the incredibly knowledgeable Mr. Fidel Bohill, the modern man. Good morning. Jodie Sol, good morning. Fabna Reddy, good morning. Elise Woodbine, good morning. The devilishly handsome Ian Dixon, good morning, sir.
Shut up, for f***'s sake. Jesus.
The fantastic Lizzie Jackson Barrett, good morning. Josephine Sandra, everybody, good morning. I feel all fired up like a ninja this morning. I've got my I'm dinging me For anybody who doesn't know, this is a tuning fork. Apparently the is the sound of creation. There you go. It's the sound of creation for your first thing in the morning. I like to bring these things to you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show at Rise Up Show with me, your host, Dani Wallace. I am the Queen Bee, as are you. I'm sporting today my Juggleware Fly Anyway t-shirt. We've had the incredible Bex Jeffrey on. She was on last Wednesday. She's been donating the profits from the sale of the Fly Anyway t-shirts to the Fly Anyway Foundation. So I was like, yes, I've been wearing this and wearing it. And I wore it yesterday and I wore it today. It still smells fresh. So I'm gonna wear it out until it's worn out and then I'll give it a little wash. Who is first past post this morning? Good morning, Amy Blaney in the house. Hello, my darling. It's nice to see you. We've got two guests on this morning. And we're going to have a couple of guests on. I'm going to spoil you with guests for the next couple of weeks because 2 weeks today, in fact, 2 weeks this very second, we will be going live for Be Inspired. We will be hitting the go live from our TV studio in the Midlands to our ticket holders for Be Inspired. And we are going to have an absolute incredible 2 days. So we are 2 weeks away today. I am holding on. It's like I'm on a roller coaster and I'm going up and I'm going up and I'm going up. We're just about to come down the other side of it. I am holding on for dear life. I am so very, very, very excited. We have had hundreds of you buy tickets and we want hundreds more of you to buy tickets. My aim is to sell 1,000 tickets so we can then donate £10,000 to the Fly Anyway Foundation. And to talk to you a little bit more about Be Inspired this morning is a dear friend of mine. She's also one of our Be Inspired speakers. I've had the pleasure of working with her and for her for the past 12 months. She is absolutely phenomenal. Please welcome to the show, you lot, Nicola J. Rowley. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
I'm so excited. Honestly, it feels like a mixture of Christmas and being on the Tower of Terror at Camelot in Chorley when I was about 10 years old on my first roller coaster. That's how it feels.
You should worry. What about us? We've got to do the talks.
I'm so excited for all of your talks, Nicola, and I'm so excited that we get to, share your beautiful story and the things that you want to share with the audience, with the world. When we do that, you're on day one, aren't you?
I am on day one. I think I'm one of the first speakers as well. You've kind of like baptism of fire. It's also my birthday as well. So it's kind of like a proper celebration. It's going to be a big thing.
It's going to be such a celebration. And I know it's your happy birthday. We get to spoil you as well as having you as one of our speakers. Please let me know if you're watching along in the comments, if you've got your ticket already, if you need to get your ticket, because I've got a cheeky little link for you today, which I'm just popping in the comments just now for Nicola's affiliate link for Be Inspired. Nicola, tell us a little bit more. I mean, obviously without giving it away, because we only have a couple of minutes with you this morning. Tell us a little bit more about your talk and the reason why you created the talk the way in which you did.
I think for me, like when I look at everything that I've done with my life, a lot of people will know me for working in PR, being a journalist and helping people to actually put together their stories so that they can go out there and get visible with the media. But for me, it has always been about storytelling. So when I was really little, I wrote my first story when I was like 6, and it ended up being something quite epic. It was like 1,000 words long, and I think it's that process of writing and being able to imagine more for myself, of like what was possible, that actually has taken me on this incredible journey to where I am now. I mean, you know this, Dani, because you helped me launch Muggle Once the Dancing Wizard, but you know, having written 3 children's books and the last one becoming an Amazon #1 bestseller in 2 categories, it's an incredible journey to have been on. But I spent years also holding myself back. And I think we do that anyway. I think naturally, sometimes we just allow life to happen to us. And it's very easy to just carry on because it's easy to do that. But actually, it's really important to kind of stop and remember what you always wanted to do as a child. So always remember that imaginary kind of like where you wanted to be and what you wanted to do. And it's important as adults that we don't lose that.
And I think that one of the beautiful things about putting together this talk with you, one of the, I guess, really inspirational things about putting this talk together with you is going on that journey with you, where, you know, where it is that you came from, what it is that you learned along the way, taking you all the way up to now, and these incredible things that you've achieved. If someone is out there listening right now, and then we're really blessed to have listeners that listen every single morning, people that come in and watch on the replay. If someone has been, do you know what? I've been seeing these photos flying around, be inspired, and it looks great, and they might be sat on the fence. What would you say to those people? How is this going to be a game changer for them?
I just think if you can get 22 speakers in a together, and you've got lifetime access to be able to always be able to revisit these talks. So you might be busy on, you know, the 21st or 22nd, 23rd of April, but if you have a chance to be able to revisit them, these are people's journeys. And I think the most important thing that we can always share are our stories and our journeys, because through those you just get completely inspired. It might be someone will say something on the day and it will fire up your imagination like nothing else, and it will be that light bulb moment that actually makes you realize you're not necessarily doing what you want to be doing, or maybe you need to be thinking bigger, not just in a small way. You can have more impact on other people, you can help other people in a different way. And I think by being surrounded by people, it's like being on a mastermind in effect, but you're basically, you've got access to all of these talks and the and all of the bits behind the scenes as well, like details of how to kind of find all these people, and they're just incredible. I mean, I know that my cohort in particular, they're just incredible. But then when you look at the second cohort as well, and some of the other people that have since come on board, it's literally, you're going to have motivational speech after motivational speech, and then you've got Dani in the middle. So you know, it's like, what's not to want to come along for? Yeah, don't worry if you can't make it. Don't worry if you can't make it live on the day. Get your ticket anyway, because you still get those lifetime access to the recordings. And I think that for me is like, that's really good, because sometimes you could be really busy, you might have meetings, or you might be doing this, or you know, whatever it is, but it's well worth it, because for, you know, it's a fraction of the price that you would pay to come and hear all of these incredible speakers telling their stories, and just and inspiring you
as well. Yeah, it is. It's that, isn't it? It's the way that we've been sort of bandying this around. I've been learning, obviously, even more about speaking in the last few years, as I've stepped into being a motivational speaker and kind of really breaking through in the speaking field and teaching other people to do the same. Is edutainment. You know, we've had a lot of Zoom situations where we've had a lot of information given to us, and the absorption and the retainment of that information is really hard work. Whereas these are short, bite-sized, lovely, incredible talks. They're not just stories, but they're packed with value as well, aren't they, Nick? I don't know if Nick's frozen. I think she's frozen. Is she there? Nick, are you there? Nicola J. Rowley, I might have to kick her off. That's terrible. What I will do is I'll put Nicola's link just here like that, so you can go and get your ticket. Nicola, if you can hear me, I love you very much. I can't wait for you to speak, be inspired. We have got such a lineup for you. I have got speakers speaking in here with me about being inspired every single day for the next couple of weeks. 2 weeks today. Oh my God. It's very exciting. What is also very exciting is the guest that I have this morning. So Nicola was just one of the guests that I've got this morning to come in and come and speak about what she's going to be speaking about, to get us excited about being inspired. But also, we've got the show to do as well. And I'm really, really lucky. We get so many incredible people that apply to be on the show. We do curate our lineups more so now than ever. And one of the things, time and time again, that you guys say to me is, God, tech really makes me scared. And as a fellow technophobe, my angels, my loves, my darlings, I think it's only right and proper that we get more women in tech in the space with us. Today is one of those days. We're going to welcome, speaking about apps and all things tech, taking away and demystifying some of the myths around tech. We've got the very gorgeous Charlotte Maslen joining us this morning. Good morning, Charlotte.
Hello, hi Dani. So happy to be here.
I am made up that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show. We were speaking just directly before, as I was putting my makeup on. As I do when it comes to like 5 minutes before the show, sort of leg it in here and start to put my slap on. We were talking about tech and how it is one of the reasons, one of the big blockers for people when it comes to either getting into business or scaling their business. It's all well and good kind of putting out I've got this offer and I'm putting it out on the internet and then that's it. But all the stuff that lies behind it, the things like the lead magnets, the CRM systems, all of the jargony stuff, it gets quite daunting, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Tech is really frightening. And I think that's why lots of women don't, decide to build the app they want to build or decide to take their business to the next level, because it is really frightening, especially when you're on your own. When I first built my app, and when I say built, I didn't actually physically build the app. If I were to go away and learn how to code and also design, that would take me years. But when I decided, I had an idea, I was very pregnant, and I wanted to use hypnobirth, and there was no hypnobirthing apps on the App Store, and I was like, that is crazy. I am going to build one. I don't know how. And so I then found out how. So I got a designer, I got a developer, and it took me a long time to be comfortable with tech, comfortable working with designers, comfortable working with developers. And then, 6 months later, my first app came out, the first hypnobirthing app on the App Store. And I knew nothing about tech at all. I just had an idea that I absolutely had to get made. That was it,
That's when you see a gap in the market, really, isn't it? And I remember 2008, I had my first child. I had Poppy back in 2008, when I just started to hear about hypnobirthing, and the only access that I had, actually, like, really started to look around for it, was a CD that I had to buy. And all of that sort of stuff. It was very like I had to go out and sort of search for it. Whereas now we do search for these things on our phones.
I had a friend in York send me her CDs, and I was like, we've got iPhones. Why is there not one on here? And I'll come on to later my frustration with the lack of women in tech because of this, the worry surrounding it. But actually, it was really, and I know everyone's going to be like, no, it wasn't. It was really easy to get it made once I had investigated it, once I'd spent the time, speaking to people, speaking to designers, speaking to developers. To get it made wasn't that difficult. And I then went on to work with tech agencies producing apps for big global companies. But I think what I've done recently is I've come back to who I was when I was pregnant. And I just really like to help women now who have an idea but are just really fearful about the tech and actually getting that app made. So that's what I'm doing now.
Let's just go back a second. Hang on 1 minute, Charlotte. So you went from not knowing about this to seeing a gap in the market, creating an app for that gap in the market, and then going on to do app development for global companies. Is that what happened?
I did app project management for apps. Yeah, for global companies.
I love it. And this is because you allowed yourself to learn. And can I just be really clear on this? Because we see so many people that do this very thing, that people go one of two ways. One is that they either say, I don't know it, it's not something that I'm going to know about. So I'm not going to know about it, and I'm not going to do it. And that's the end of the conversation. And they don't open themselves up to that world. That's it. It's the end. Other people like you say, hey, if I learn about this opens up a whole world to me, and then it makes sense. And this isn't for everybody. It might not be all of a sudden. We're not all going to start learning apps, but we will find these things in life where it just clicks for us in a way it doesn't click for everybody else. And I guess that what happened with you with the app world then.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just, initially, it wasn't even anything about wanting to build an app. It was wanting to fill a frustrating gap in the market that I thought was crazy. Like I thought, how can we not have this as women? And there are so many apps that are missing because women are not in tech, and therefore more of the apps are made by men, and therefore we have these big gaps. And particularly, that one was 9 years ago, and I just was annoyed about it, to be honest. And I was like, right,
you don't get blokes sat there going, I know what we need.
Yeah,
we need exactly.
I mean, so that was it. And then I thought, okay, and I've got 5 apps now. And then I started working for an agency, just project managing apps for them. So I think, yes, I mean, I'd worked in digital marketing, but nothing to do with apps, like nothing at all. Right. And my first app as well, I didn't have any investment or anything. It was really cheap. It was basically, I was like, right, how can I make the cheapest app to validate it, see that it works? It cost me less than 400 quid to get my app up.
That's one of the conceptions as well, is that to have an app costs thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds. And also, I guess one of the questions that I want to ask Charlotte, and this is something that it interests me specifically about apps. I'm in the coaching industry. I am a public speaking coach. That's my job, as well of all of the silly daft stuff that you see me doing. But my job is to be a public speaking coach. For coaches in particular, how would apps serve their business?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it depends. So it depends what kind of coach you were. So, it depends how big your audience is. It really depends on what you're coaching, because there are so many different ways it could help your business. Like, let's say, so some people, so I had one coach come to me saying, what she wanted was an app as part of her business for her clients. That is a very different way to having an app where you're going to monetize it. If it's for your clients, you're not really monetizing it. You're giving it as an extra add-on for your clients. If you want to monetize something, what you would do is you would turn one part of your business, one part of your coaching business into an app, and thereby you'd be able to go onto a global audience on the app stores, and you'd be able to get your brand out there. But most importantly, you'd be able to help more people with one part of your business. So it's about thinking, what part of your business could you put into an app to help people?
Because when we think, I think broadly, when we think about apps, we think about the things that we would download, that maybe we would purchase an app, or we would, if you think about, I don't know, the app that sits alongside Fitbit, and that makes sense. And actually, you're buying the software because the software speaks to the piece of tech that you've got. But actually, like you say, having an app, a piece of interesting and usable and interactive software that you can use to help your clients, that's a different way of thinking about it, isn't it? It's not, it doesn't just then become, it's going to be this, I've got an app and everyone's going to download the app in the world, and that's going to be the thing. But actually looking at it in a different way, how can an application, which is what it is that's why it's called an app, how can this application, this piece of software, assist my customer base, my client base? You can think about it in a couple of different ways. I never thought about it like that. It's interesting.
Yeah, because also you could have something that assists your client base, and it could be for them, or you could have something that will assist your client base but could also help somebody else who was maybe in the coaching world. So it could be something to do with how productive you are, or empowering your clients. It could be something like that. So whatever you feel strongly about in your coaching, how could that be channeled into an app? And that's why I work with ideas with my clients, and each client is very different. They have very different ideas. So yeah, you absolutely can. You can pretty much make an app for any business, but it needs to be something really worthwhile. So I had one lady come to me, and she had a very small clothing business, and she said, I want to make an app. And I said, I don't want you to waste your money. But if you do want to make an app, let's think of how we can help people that may buy your clothes. Okay, so you could make an app that shows what clothes are great for your body shape. So you can begin to think of more ideas where this app is really going to reach your audience and also help people. And that's kind of what you need to do on a person by person basis.
Yeah, and people do this about all sorts of things. Like people will come to me, they'll say to me, "I want to talk." Well, that's great. Why? Like, people, when it comes to having a talk, it is a piece of marketing. However we look at it, just like an app would be, it's a piece of marketing. It's an addition. It's a point of sale thing that either you get to assist or you get to draw in a lead gen, for example. A talk is no different in that if your talk is a vehicle, you're the driver. You've got to drive your audience somewhere. There's got to be a point to it, a reason why you've got it there. Not just, oh, I need a talk, I want to go and do talking. Well, that's great. I want an app. I want to give everybody an app. Why?
Exactly. I know, exactly. That's exactly why I ask everyone, okay, but what is the purpose of this app and how are you going to help people with this app? And that's exactly, it's great. And the thing is, you can create a great big idea from a small idea. For example, that the idea the lady came to me with could have been an amazing idea if she thought about it in a different way, and we talked about it. But of course, then she was thinking, well, I just want to sell my clothes. So then, great, do that on Shopify. That's a great idea, but probably I don't want you to waste your money on an app. So that's the conversations I have with people often about apps. As you say, you want an app, but how are we going to reach? Yeah, exactly. Why? Yeah.
What do we want the outcomes to be? And this is a worthwhile question to ask whenever you're thinking about doing something or investing in something, because it's okay to have it, but what you don't want to have is a very expensive vanity metric. Just that, oh, I've got an app. Ta-da. It's like even with a book or with something like, oh, I've got a book. Great. Why have you got a book? Why do you want to share these things? So understanding that an app is a massively useful, fantastic tool for your business, as long as you've got an outcome in mind for it, as long as you've got somewhere that you're driving your customer to be, an outcome, an understanding, a check-in, whatever that is. So talk to me more about women in tech. I get excited about this topic. I get excited about lots of topics. I'm a very excitable little pup. But talk to me about women in tech, because it just so happens in this particular corner of the internet, although we're an inclusive brand, we're very lady-centric. We've got lots of the female of the persuasion are over here hanging out with me in the morning. And we do get our king bees and our royal bees, and everybody's welcome. And the one thing that keeps coming back time and time again, like I said right at the top of this conversation, is I don't get the tech. I don't understand it. It's not for me. It's a very, in inverted commas, apologies, this is a sweeping statement. It's a very masculine thing to know about.
I know, and it makes me cross, but also there's an opportunity there. So let me start with the making me cross. There are 7% of women in tech. Only 1% of female founders, this is unbelievable, actually get any investment. 1%. That means 99% of investment in apps come for male founders. They give male founders. Right, tell me about it, okay? And
let's get our
I'm really cross about it, but and I'll come to why this can be a good thing. But so and I think the same thing, we've all heard that thing, right, where men will go to an interview, if they see they can do 2 things on the job spec, they'll go for an interview, whereas women need to have 9. And this is the same in tech, okay? So women are like, I'm fearful, I'm not going to go for it, whereas men go, I've got an app idea, I'm going to get this app idea made. And there are more men more confidently going into tech and going into apps. They might be like me, where they don't actually know anything about, they're not all technical, Dani, at all. They just have an idea, get their investment, and off they go. And I think that is basically what we're seeing in tech, is women are fearful and men are thinking now it's much more their realm, which it isn't at all. And the good thing about it, so getting off my high horse, the good thing, that means there are actually lots of gaps in the market for apps created by women for women. Why was there no iHypnobirth apps? Because most of the apps were created by men. Now there are, because we're, it's a bigger market. But I think there are still now, 10 years later, there are still apps that haven't been created because we have a higher percentage of men creating apps. And actually, there are loads of gaps in the market because of that. I've got one lady creating a really great app specifically for women. I can't say because it's not out yet, but there's nothing like it, and that's what's really exciting. So bad that all the men are in tech, good, there are all opportunities for everyone.
Right. So this is actually a great time to be having to think about this, if this is something that's in your trajectory or something that's in your kind of plan for your business, or indeed, having a conversation with yourself, Charlotte, if that's something that is ticking along for any of you out there. Actually, now is a really great time because of those gaps in the market. The more conversations that we have like this, the more that we start to create a little bit of equity in that playing field, the less easy it becomes. It's like everything. So actually now is a really great time.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really great time. And all you need is a good idea. And that's what my whole program is about. You don't need to know about tech. You need a good idea. That's why I created it, because that was me when I was pregnant. And I had a really idea that I had to get made. And that's why I want to help other people with that.
And there's nothing more frustrating, and I know a number of friends who've done this, than having an idea and not acting on it, and then seeing somebody else get in there and make £1 million off it. This has happened to one of my very, very best friends, where they've had an idea, they built the idea out, they didn't do anything with it, and then something came along that actually was the same idea, because there was no new news. People are actively searching for gaps in the market, and then created something, and that became a worldwide global sensation. And that it made
it's horrible. Yeah, exactly. If you have an idea, do it. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody is out there right now, Charlotte, and they're considering an app, or they haven't considered an app, until I've had this conversation with you, I haven't considered an app. It's probably something I probably would like to look at a bit further down the line. What would you say to them? Like, when you say it's okay, it's about having an idea. Well, what about idea? Are we saying that we need to go and look for gaps in the market? Are we what kind of we saying? How can apps, why should we be actively looking at this now?
Yeah. So I think there's two types of idea. So there's one, or maybe even three. So there's one where you have an idea that's just come from, you've seen this gap and you're frustrated, like I was. So that's one, and that's nothing to do with my business. I was pregnant. I wasn't working at the time. So there's nothing to do with business. I just had an idea and it was a gap. I wasn't looking for a gap. I just found it. So that's one type of. And if that's your idea, and there is a gap in the market, you've looked, you can find that, then that is an app that I think, look into and get made. And then there's the other type. You're a business owner, or you're a coach, or you're a business owner, and you've thought, actually, I want to, first of all, give myself more credibility. Second of all, I want to help more people and reach more people on a global scale. And third of all, I want to offer just one part of my business in an app. And I think that is also the type of, idea where you need to think, okay, is this going to add value? And if it is, I'll look into that. So I think that, and then there's the idea where it's just something that is going to be just for your business, just for people who've paid for your business, which lots of people do. But of course, then it does add credibility, but you're not bringing in any extra income from it. So those three types of ideas. And I think whichever one yours is, you need to be looking for competitors. So that's the first thing I tell everybody that I work with to do. Have you looked at competitors? And they say yes, and then I go online with them, and then I no, you haven't, because I find 5. And then B, if there are competitors, which is fine if there are, because they're maybe what are they not doing that you could be doing?
What's the gap that you could plug if they've not covered it all?
Yeah. So that's it. I mean, in terms of thinking of ideas, if it was for my business, if I was a coach, I'd be looking at my business and thinking, what could I turn into a really useful tool? That's what I would be doing. So I think that's what I would start doing in terms of ideas. And the first place that I speak to is, have you looked at competitors? And that's what I would suggest for people. Have you looked at the competitors and seen what's out there?
Amazing. So what sort of things have you got going on where people can start to access this way of thinking? So are there any groups that we can access? Are there any things that you do that allow us to learn a little bit more about this if we're completely brand new? Because a lot of people watching this morning will be so brand new to this conversation that, like me, they'll have never have considered it before.
Yeah, so I've got a Facebook group, the App Corner. So it's called the App Corner, helping entrepreneurs build apps. So that is a free group, and I do videos, I do posts. I try to get everybody who don't know about tech to think about their app, to think about their app idea. So that is a free group on Facebook. So do come there. I've also got a workshop day coming up, which is bring your app idea to life in one day, and it will take you right through for search. Validation, USP, your competitor analysis, and everything. I'll help you write all of your design briefs, your developer briefs, give you all of my developers and designers I've worked with for years. And then you will basically be at the starting point of your app in that one day. And you don't need to know anything about tech at all, because it's very hand-holding. Because I see people exactly in the way that I was when I created mine, which is no idea. So, you need as much help as possible.
I love it. So that when people are coming to you, you actually know where they're at in their journey. If they, you didn't have an idea when you first start. Well, you had the idea, but you didn't have a clue how to kind of get started. So you felt those feelings, that kind of trepidation, that kind of the vastness of the world that you don't know. So it's quite nice to. It's quite intimidating sometimes, I think, when we start looking at tech and people that have worked in tech, and they seem, they forget that once upon a time they didn't know about the thing that they're learning about. Your clients are coming to you, and you're this expert now in the field, and you know how to plug people into different, whatever tech goes on. You know how to plug people in so that it works. But
Yeah.
there were a point where you didn't know about that, and the fact that you can reflect on that and offer a bit of a safety handhold through that situation, I think is just brilliant, because it's daunting approaching tech companies. I want to
So
build an app, and you're like, no.
yeah, I know. And also, I always say to people, don't go to agencies. I worked in an agency. An app would cost us 10,000 and we'd be charging 80,000, and that's why I have developed. Yeah. And that's why another reason I do. So I have developers and designers that aren't in agencies, because that is how people say to me, oh, they told me it cost me 50,000 to do my app. No, it won't.
Everybody needs to get paid, mate.
Exactly. So, and also about, I work one-to-one with two ladies, and they're in their 60s, and they have this app idea. And honestly, they aren't on social media. They are now at UX design stage, one of my designers, and it's amazing. Anybody can do it. And they don't even have Instagram. That is how, it's, I know, they are awesome. So it really can be accessible if you want to create your app.
Brilliant. Right, Charlotte, if you could do me a favor, if you've got links that we can share, that we can pop in the comments so that we can, access more of you and learn more about you, that would be brilliant. Give us your Instagram handles or your socials so that we can follow you. Where do we hang out with you, Charlotte?
Oh, so basically I'm Charlotte_Maslen on Instagram, and then I'm Charlotte Maslen on Facebook. And the App Corner, please come to the App Corner. It is a free group where I talk all about apps, really accessible. And then I've got my free event coming up as well. So please come to that. That would be great. Here, let me just get my app. Where is my App Corner? There we go.
Got it. Let's have a little look. So
there we go.
And then let me do a little copy.
So that's my event. So that's my paid event, where you basically go from idea through to having your app with designers and developers, and then that's my free group there.
Excellent. Right. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to pop it in the comments just here. Paste. There we go. They are the links. Go and get amongst it, you lot. Go and find out more in the App Corner. Charlotte, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, Dani. It's been so fun.
I'll see you later, my darling. That was Charlotte Maslen from the App Corner. Go and get more information on that, especially if you're looking for marketing tools with which to support your clients with. It all starts with an idea. Don't sit on those ideas, because like one of my very, very best friends sat on an idea, and then something absolutely huge happened that was the idea, and she was absolutely kicking herself. When you see these gaps in the market, it is really, really beneficial, especially in the community that we've got, with the contacts that we have within this community. There is no reason whatsoever that you can't get these ideas off the ground. just by putting shouts out in places like the IATQB Hive. If you're not a member of the IATQB Hive, however, get yourself in there. It's absolutely free. We share our successes, we share our challenges, I share what I'm getting up to. In there, first and foremost, make sure you follow me on the Queen Bee Dani on Instagram as well. We're going to make it rain today, you lot. We're going to make it rain with speaker announcements. Check out over on Instagram today. You will see my speakers start to pop up all over the place like amazing, delicious pieces of popcorn in the speaker buffet that is Be Inspired. If you haven't got your tickets yet, get your tickets sorted out. I love you. Have an incredible day. I will see you tomorrow at 9:30 for the Short Rise Up Show. Take care, Tra.